So today I'm actually going to be continuing the theme on adding character. So I was going to look at a couple of lighting issues, but that is a bit of a jump between each painting here with the lighting issues that it has. So I'm actually going to go back into and continue the discussion on adding character to your illustrations instead of just having them stand there like a mugshot. We're going to talk about gesture and costume and expression, which are the three ways to characterize and add character and add intrigue to your drawings. So before all that, I have some announcements. I said that the resource pack would be up by the end of last week. I did not get a chance to get to that. At the end of every day, we came home very tired. Like I said, lots of construction, not really a vacation at all. So I'll have that as soon as I can. I promise you, as soon as I can, the challenge will come out. We have a lot of time. As soon as this challenge is done, we're gonna jump straight into the Halloween challenge, which is a creepy creature challenge, which we do every year. You just design the creepiest creature you can, and I give you some references to work from to design the creature. But that will be the one right after this one. So you're going to have the rest of August and all of September to complete this upcoming challenge. That's why I'm kind of not so worried about rushing it. And then you're going to, from October 1st to October 31st is the creepy creature illustration. And this time it's not just going to be a sketch, it's going to be a full-on illustration. These challenges across the board are just getting more and more challenging. So I will most likely continue the whole illustration pursuit and full character design pursuit instead of single sketches or concepts or something like that. Because we've been covering a lot of that for those who have been following for some years now. And then there is how to get your stuff submitted into the Google+. Join the Google Plus by going to istebrak.com and clicking on the little Google Plus icon here. Please read the rules. And to be a patron, you have some time left for our assignment this month, which is really, really fun. It's all about generating an ideal male face that you can reference in your visual library consistently. It teaches the student how to measure. So we're jumping back and forth between a full-on, full-body character design and particular character design. I think that's the best way to really empower your illustration skills, is to refragment every time you piece everything together, break it back down into its parts, and perfect the parts. So that's my whole teaching, mission statement. So if you want to join, you can join as a watcher. If you want to support, my goal is 1,000. But if you, I don't know if it's even possible. But if you want to join as an apprentice, you get all of the educational access as well. Okay, so let's get started. I'm so sorry about my tired voice. It's been a very, very long week. In fact, it's been a very long month. It's starting to get really difficult waking up in the morning. You guys should be able to hear me. Last video was content as fuck because of the OC video. So what I'm going to do today is use this piece to help me finish this piece. So it's going to be really fun and interesting to see how I do that. Okay, so what were the three ways to add character, to add intrigue to your character? What are the three ways to make your characters more interesting? Can anyone recall the three ways? الchallenge, ما هو الchallenge? الchallenge that's upcoming is going to be a character within an illustration environment, like an environment design plus character. So it's primarily an environment design plus the character that is incorporated into the environment. The brief will come out very, very soon. Gesture, expression, and costume. Excellent, Rebecca. So, how do we add character, and how do we add, where do we start? Well, I'm going to start with the gesture. And the gesture, she seems like, not anybody can pick up these John Lennon, is that what they are, glasses, and get away with them. It's a very, very certain kind of attitude you have to wear glasses like that. So I'm going to try to shift her face to be a little bit more downturned. But I don't want to give her this, like, massive ass head. Okay, and then I'm going to enlarge. Hey, no thank you. And I'm going to try to jump into liquefy and just shrink the bun at the top. I don't know why Liquify feels like it's necessary to change the size of every brush. Do you guys know how I can undo that? How to make the brush size stay the same throughout all tools in Liquify? I don't know why Photoshop keeps thinking that it should fix what's not broken. I don't know what's wrong with Photoshop or Adobe. I really don't understand. Stupid idiots. So what we have here is a need to tilt the nose down, just like the last time. The last character that we did, we tilted their nose down because the nose is a signature perspective marker. It's a giveaway for the perspective. Alright, I also want her mouth a little open, a little bit of attitude. She really reminds me of a Jessica Jones character. You may even have referenced her. In order for me to make the mouth feel open, I have to distance the low line of the lip, the lowest line of the lower lip, further away, and then add the space in between. Remember that halfway smile feels more natural. Okay, and then the rest of the face I'm going to actually patch up with that 14-day challenge that I also brought in. So adding character is like full-on illustration, like a powerhouse. You know, that's where, that's what's the difference between concept and full-on illustration. You've created the character and the world from which they emerge. So that's why I want to focus more on these nowadays than drafting or planning. I feel like I've focused a lot of that already. And that's 14-day challenge stuff. I'm going to enlarge the size of the forehead and lower the eyes so that she's kind of looking down, but not shrinking her face. And the way to do that is to just keep tucking away at the distant perspective. Gotta eventually hide the nostrils because eventually the nose, as the perspective marker, the main perspective marker, will hide its nostrils behind itself, behind the tip, as they look down. I'm gonna set up the eyebrows, and what I'm gonna do, actually, is I'm gonna make the eyes halfway appear above the glasses. So there was really no need to hide the eyes completely in the glasses. And guess what's happening? We're adding character. So before, like, you know, like mugshot, yeah, I got nothing to say and no one to say it to. And then after, we have a little bit more attitude. Last time we added a head tilt. Actually, let me try that in separate motions. Hey, sit. That's a good girl. My little assistant is here with me today. Okay, and then for me to correct the head tilt, I'm just shifting it over. I'm not sure which direction I want to shift it to. Let's just shift it in the same direction as last time. Alright. And then, right after that, merge down, I'm going to shift the shoulders. So right, like she's standing with some attitude. Okay, so I really don't know why you guys don't take the time to fall in love with your characters. Because that's essentially what's happening, is that you guys are painting and spending so much effort in, you know, deciding on the color of the lenses, deciding on the intricacies of the shirt and the main design of the shirt. But for some reason, when it comes down to gesture, it's like you guys are not equipped with that language at all, or are not familiar with it at all. It's very unusual, I find it. Because these characters, you guys are drawing them with lots of love. Okay, so I'm going to merge all this down and go back up to where everything used to be. And just from these changes, we're seeing so much more interest in the character. I mean, you may think this is characterization, but we'd really have to think for us to care about your character the way you do, or see the character the way you do. We really don't see it the way you do. So now is the fun part. Now is that really, really tricky business that I was going to try. Before that, I'm going to just correct this shadow. Alright, so gesture is what we just adjusted. Costume is great. Costume has added a lot of fun to her. The glasses are wonderful. Great, great. This is all great. But it's not the only thing you need. And you made the mistake of thinking it's the only thing you need. Okay, so the glasses are what I need from the old piece. Because they got distorted. So this is going to be fun. Alright. My lasso powers have not been very well trained lately. I've had my students hand in PSTs more than JPEGs, so I haven't needed to. Oh God, not this. Not this shit again. For the love of Jesus. Oh God, I forgot about that crap. No, no, thank you. I never got around to fixing that. My life has just been a hurricane. For the love of God. And though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I shall fear no evil. No. Not today, Satan. Okay. Alright, so I gotta get rid of these. And I gotta bring in the other eyes so they're halfway. It's just the way this painting was painted is that no part of the eyes are visible so that I could do them. And I'm not about to draw a whole new set of eyes in the 45-minute period. Not that I can't, because God knows I can. God, that was an evil laugh, Jesus. That's really evil. Alright. So I'm just blending. I think I scared my cat. Alright, prepping the eyebrows. Eyebrows are what? What power do the eyebrows have? Does anyone have an answer? What power do the eyebrows have? What do they do? What do eyebrows do? Okay, so I'm just gonna add a little laugh, touch of a smile there, some laugh lines to complete that. Signature to know that others is just my bad habit of expression. Exactly. So I'm going to leave these eyebrows alone. In fact, I'm going to try to do as much work as I can with the eyebrows. And then I'm going to bring the glasses in and put them on halfway. I'm going to try to close this distance here. Ignore the eyes because that's making everything look ridiculous. Just give it a moment too. Your character was literally going through a mugshot, like they were in a mugshot. I'm sure your character deserved a bit more than that. And so we've talked about how to fall in love with your character last time we did one of these. And I was saying, you gotta write. You gotta start writing out your characters. You gotta do a little bit more work on your characters. Actually, I'll just grab the eyes. Do you see what I'm doing here now, guys? Okay, so these eyes go beneath, and I'll try to position them in such a way Right, so obviously your process doesn't look like this. Obviously your process had some great sketch lines and was firing on all cylinders with planning, okay? So this is not what you're supposed to be doing. This is not an example of how to salvage bad planning. I mean, it is a good example of how to do it, but it's not how you should be working. You shouldn't always depend on the transform tool to answer all your problems. So far so good. Everything is looking great. She's got a lot of attitude to her. I'm just gonna color correct. So I used someone else's drawing, but hopefully, you know, you get the idea. One thing you can't do is make her look down. You gotta make her look up. Give her some focus in her eyes. So I need the rest of the face. So merge down. Actually, I need to darken that whole setup to match. There we go. Then we merge down, filter, liquefy, and I'm just gonna adjust where these eyes are looking. Why I zoomed in, I don't know. They're supposed to be looking at something. She tilted her head down. Her eyebrow went up. There's just a bit of anger and intelligence there. Okay, and I'm just continuing, pushing this even further. And the only way to really complete the expression in the eyes looking up, can anyone answer that? What do the eyes do when they look up? Right, so I don't want to give you guys all the answers, but what's missing in making the eyes look more focused and more upward? Right, I'm going to exaggerate that smile. Ooh, mama, look at that. Can anyone tell me? Oh, thank you so much, George. Thank you so much. Okay, you made those eyes, Yamcha? Beautiful job. All right, so while you guys answer that, I'm just going to continue with the shape. Thank you, George. And I'm just gonna add a little bit of a, like almost like a scornful, but not really scorn. Like it's just a little bit of attitude. See that? Just a little bit of attitude to a laugh line you add. All right, look at all the characters just shining through. I'm gonna try to do more and more and more of these as I see them posted, but at the same time, I don't want to see you guys planning so little. I want to see you guys be writers. You have to be a writer to a certain degree if you want to create and paint characters. You can't be these unshifting just movers of color. You can't just be someone that just moves color and adds edge work. You can't just do that. There's a lot more to this. So upper eyelids are thinner, white of the eyes is visible from the bottom. Excellent, beautiful job. Excellent job, Tashar. So I'm giving her a squint because squints are the best. Okay, so and I'm just entering. Look at that attitude. Look at that. She's becoming a person. I feel like I know her. Alright, and one simple way of getting past that annoying opaqueness to the glasses is to just erase away so that you're seeing through them a little bit. Alright, and then I'm just gonna do that. Alright, you obviously need some shadows for the glasses. So I'm going to do the eyes in a second, but I'm just going to cast some shadows here. Just coming off the glasses, hanging off the nose. Alright, so the face is now permanently accepting glasses. Yeah, it looks a little off. And then I'm going to start adding some white. And that means gotta push the eyes up even further. Alright, so bear with me. I know there's a big black marks across the face. going to tuck in and shrink the space of the upper eyelids. Excellent point. There we go. And I'm just going to bring that white in, just like so. Okay, so now I'm going to start blending a little bit just to unify some of these units together. And I forget what the original eye color, oh shit, wrong layer. Oh, that's fine. I forget what the original eye color was. Alright, I'm going to get that red using a color layer, and that's going to be reflected down on the face. Just like that, just off the lenses. Something that you're missing is like the entire, your crop is all wrong, by the way, is the entire just light source color. Where is that? I know it's a dark room, I get it, but you're missing it. Alright, another thing that you're missing is just some better staging. It's getting a bit difficult to like know what the light source is, or just like understand what's happening in this scene. So what I'm going to do is just throw in a big curtain shadow, just like that, throw it off over there, and it kind of gets lifted if you get higher up on the character, just like that, a bit sharper, so the whole thing will be a bit lighter. Let me darken it and then raise. Thank you so much, the Artist's Desk. Thank you, thank you. Okay, so we cast a quick little shadow to close off the room. We might add just a bit more, but we did lose the wallpaper, so that's something you'll have to bring in. I'm going to darken the room from beneath as well. Flip the canvas. Just see a lot of problems. So one of the problems I see is the glasses. I feel like they should be resaturated back to that red, because you really didn't have anything other than that red working. But also you had like this just really super rendered quality to the glasses compared to everything else. And again, there's that lack of the light source in the environment. That was completely gone. So gotta bring those glasses back down. Shadows weren't allowing it. And that seems okay now that we flipped it, but I feel like the shoulders could be a little bit more a little bit more symmetrical, rotated accurately. So that's the symmetry line on the collar, revealing how the torso has moved in perspective against the camera. Okay. And there's so much more you can do to really make her spicier, you know. But I would start with the light source as soon as possible. And that would be just choosing what the light source is. If there is light in this room, I mean, it can just be white. You can just make it, you know what? Let's make it pure white. If you feel like you need to keep that ruby gloom kind of sad, happy melancholia thing, whatever it is, really. If you feel like you need to keep that, just use a grayscale then. But we do need another light source. Just anything to really pick everything up a little. Oops. And I'm just adding it everywhere. I would change the color of her eyes in the direction they're looking in. Maybe make them look at the audience. Maybe make them look away. It's really your choice. And then I'm just going to throw that shadow right there. Okay, and then the bridge of the nose catches some light. And the cast shadow there. And we just need some kind of universal light. Unless she's got like those freakishly matte lipsticks, which are really, really gross and they dry your lips out. She needs some kind of reflecting light to make her lips feel a little bit more open. And then this is where I would open the lip. And that would be like the last way to really wake her up. And I'd counter that with some upper lip highlights. Just the slightest little highlight. In fact, I don't need to do that at all. I can just use a pure black for the opening. There we go. And then select inverse. Just grab a little bit of highlighter for the upper lip. Alright, so same as last time, there's no really new magic to this. You can make her eyes look in a different direction. I mean, let's try it. Let's make her eyes look at the viewer instead. So it's a little experiment. It's just so much more attitude and a gesture change and some expression. And expression, it happens in the head tilt, so that's perspective you're going to have to adjust and prepare for. And perspective has to be prepared before anything ever. If you plan on using perspective, that's the first thing you prepare. Write that back to me. You can't adjust perspective without repainting some stuff. Liquify and transform tool don't always work. Okay? So it's much cooler if she's looking at the viewer. No, my aim is not working right now. Right, just get my eraser. So this is if her eyes were brown or black. Okay, and if you want those eyes lighter and all that, you can do this. This eye is still not really looking in the same direction. It just has to be perfect. So I'll have like both options for you. And then to find the pupil, you just perfectly center it in the eye, in the respective eye. You don't try to cross pupils. Please don't try to cross pupils. You cross the iris, not the pupil. The pupil is in the center of the iris. So let me see when I started doing that. Okay. Alright, so before and then the after, which is a little better, yes. Fuck. Whatever. She's looking towards the viewer. That's what counts. She's looking away. This one's cuter because she's kind of looking away, but I like this one. She's a little bit more focused. That's more symmetrical because she's so asymmetrical, but I don't know. It's pointless. Alright, so before, mugshot. I don't really care for her, honestly. She seems like she's a fake grade A student. You know those ones that fake their way through high school? They're not. They're like really stupid. They're like as dumb as a what is it? As dumb as a log. What's the saying? But they pretend to be smart. The attitude I'm picking up from this girl. Where here we're actually having some, you know, character. Yes, her chin and her face were changed because the perspective I had to apply. But I think what we lost in likeness, we can get back with a good amount of planning. I just have to hide this nostril. Do you know, everyone knows one of those bitches in school that acted way too smart. But they need to ask her a simple history question or some math questions or a language question, or she doesn't have really any major talents in anything. She just acts smart. We've all known a boob like that. Alright, so I'm hiding the nostrils. Why again am I hiding the nostrils? Why is that significant in this perspective change? Dumb as a rock, but log works. Dumb as a rock, there we go. Dumb as a doorknob, there we go. Shukran ihsan. Savage. Dumb as a bag of hammers, there we go. The first thing you prepare for is perspective. Make perspective great again, yes. Why again why are we concerned with the nostrils? You know, way too many people like that. That's funny. I would suggest you start cropping some stuff, you know? I think that this is a very nice character design. Kind of like a mugshot for like a character lineup for a game or something like that. I think that's great. You know, as a whole, if this is all you're getting, pretty much a profile of this character, not a profile, like a simple portrait of this character or bust, you need to add a little bit more effort in how much you're pulling off in this, and the crop was not helping you. So the effort is in the planning and the gesture and how much you're showing in this short amount of time. The face is pointing below the horizon line. Excellent, wonderful way of putting that, Dwayne. It makes it look like she's looking down a bit, head down, because she's looking down, because we don't want her to sneeze on us. Very funny, Daniel. Head down, nose down. Why? Why is the nose? No one's talking about what the nose means as a landmark. What does it mean when I call the nose a landmark? Can anyone answer that? Nose is a perspective marker. Thank you, Jaden. Marker for portraits. The nose protrudes, so it works as an indication for the direction the head is pointing. Beautiful. It's like one big arrow. Can't see her snoot. Shukran, Nura. Okay, so that's what I wanted to adjust today. Please have more character in your character designs. Her head may be a bit too big, admittedly, now that I've zoomed out because of the edits. Alright, so I would shrink her head just to bring back her age. Remember, a big head means a younger character, so her head was a bit too big, for anyone who's noticed that before. After. Alright, so what are the ways to add character? Let's talk about eyebrows some more. But what are the 3 ways to add character, and what were the ways that I adjusted? Alright, so for the eyebrow, if we add, let's talk about it. If we add an eyebrow like this, she becomes evil. Because an eyebrow like this goes that high because there's a lot of aggressive thought. It reflects aggressive thought. Either it's, I don't know, sexually driven or femme fatale, but even a male character that has this kind of eyebrow shows aggressive thought, okay? When we raise the inside of the eyebrow up, it's part of an expression. She's not so evil anymore because the inside of the eyebrow is where you find innocence. Innocence goes up for the inside of the eyebrow. Innocence is the expression of emotion, not that you don't hide emotion. So you're so overwhelmed with emotion you can't hide it. So almost mercy or tenderness is this inner part of the eyebrow. See that? See how much less threatening she is. See how much more threatening she is now when that innocence goes down. Okay? So the eyebrow is a very powerful tool. Here she is as a protagonist that's pretty tough and rough. And here she is as the antagonist. A simple change in the eyebrow shape, she becomes the antagonist. The antagonist is the bad guy. Right, so costume, gesture, and expression are all ways to add intrigue, to add character to your designs. Okay, any questions at all about today's class? Okay, so I don't want that. Merge down. So everything was stiff. I mean, your nose is great. You were value sharing a little bit. If we were just to talk about rendering as a, like, singularly as rendering, your nose was a bit. I mean, the face is well drawn before, but the beauty was just a bit off where it was before, because it looked like a, you know, when you open your phone and the camera's pointing at your face, you kind of just like, you know, your chin out. So where the character was before was countering all of that. I mean, if you were going for some fashion kind of look where everything is still and stiff, and the stiffness is something you want, and the symmetry, and if that's what you want, that's fine too. But it's such a specific way of delivering a character. It will read sooner as boring than as interesting if a character is just standing there. But here you have a bit more action. She's talking to the viewer. She's saying something. Yeah. So the crop is really important. Please don't forget about the crop. Alright. Higher eyebrows show aggressive thought. Innocence is in the inner part of the eyebrows. Higher, sharper eyebrows. A sharper, you know, what a... Alright, so I'm just going to remove that comment. So, yeah, a sharper triangle, like a really severe point, is evil. Just look at, like, eyebrows in villains in Disney. I think her lipstick color isn't that nice. What do you think? I like the lipstick color. I think it's a bit different and new. It is a new color that isn't seen anywhere else in the painting, which is problematic. But I think we do see hints of blue just around here in the hair. I think you should give the eyes some color. Maybe the eyes can be blue, but at that point it's no longer makeup. It's a magical creature of some kind. Okay. So these are always fun. And then I'm going to go into this guy. Thank you for your help. Okay, so for this day 6, what I'm seeing is a little bit of value sharing. The expression in the eyes isn't really looking in a very particular direction. Your canvas is not vertical, so it's kind of squished the head, and the chin is not even there because you ran out of space. So please give yourself some space so that you don't make this mistake again. So filter, liquefy, just give yourself some space, okay? That's all it is. Just do it. It doesn't need much explanation. Just start doing it, and that's it. Stop using a squared canvas. So I'm tucking all this in because the jawline was a little strong. And I'm giving the neck, like the chin, just a little bit more length to live in. Is anyone getting those like Halloween fever, like the August, like, you know, you just can't wait for fall and you're like thinking about Christmas? Is anyone else getting these feelings? I'm totally like all about that right now, even though like Christmas is so far away. Okay, I'm gonna give the lips some horizontal size. We're looking like they were pursed. Is that right? Pursed? Pursed lips, right? And I'm gonna make the eyes look in the same direction. So please give your characters some expression. And if you're not a writer and if you don't feel like writing, remember that all you really have to do is make one interesting thing happen in gesture, one interesting thing happen in expression, and really interesting costume that all lead back to the character and what they're all about. So if they're, you know, a trope, a specific trope, if they're the bad guy, if they're the innocent protagonist, if they're a hefty, food-loving protagonist, what are ways that you could make them more, you can reinforce that character in those three concepts, in those three categories. Okay. When August comes, fall comes into full speed. Yes. Now, it gets way too hot by the end of the year to be hyped for it. Oh, I've got the feeling that time is going way too fast. I'm just averse to heat. Can't seem to get rid of that habit. Can't wait for the fall. No reasons. For reasons. Oh. No more sun. It's too much. You want eggnog. Okay, so I'm just adjusting the eyes. So before, see how that one lazy eye was there? And after, give it the face less of a squished look, because she started to look like an Italian butcher. I don't know why I'm getting the read for Italian butcher. Kind of overweight, lost his neckline 20 years ago kind of deal. And then I'm just going to bring back that jawline a little bit more delicately. She can still have a jawline. It's a little bit beneath the mouth edge. Don't be so concerned with the shoulders, okay? Just put the neck where it's supposed to go. That's all that you're concerned with a 14-day challenge. That's all you should be concerned with. Okay. Some other problems that you have are the eyebrows being way too dark, darker even than dark spots. The nose being a little underdeveloped. The nose that you drew is, it's got tiny little nostrils, but the nostril itself is big, but the nostril cavity is small. The nostril edge and the cavity are the same thing. They are the same thing. The hole is the outline as well. And it doesn't make the nose look big if the nostril hole is big. It only looks big if the nostril outline is big. The hole is fine. Make it as big as it needs to be for functional purposes, or else she can't breathe or smell or stuff her finger in there. I make that joke every fucking time and I'm not sick of it yet. I don't know why. Alright, she needs to pick her nose too. Girls do these things, okay? I mean, it'd be nice if we didn't get boogers, but what the fuck am I talking about? Anyway, then I'm gonna get this highlighter and just bring in some light spots. So you're missing some of the light spots. The upper lip catches the light, okay? It's not a cavity. It's not recessed like the eye socket is. You got value sharing around the nose. Get rid of that. Nice and quick block right there. You're missing, I don't know why you added a highlight for the lower eyelid, but it's supposed to be there. And then the eyelids you drew kind of need to be blocked upward because you overdrew them in a way. You kind of have this wing that's connecting to the eyelids instead of it behaving like an eyelash lifted outside of that corner. No texture on the eyebrows, and they're just too dark. And no blending on the eyebrows. So now we blend all of these blocks. Temple block, the core shadow for the temple is like not even there. That needs to be there, something like that. So darken and go down. Good job on the nose shadow. Very nice. So for those who don't know what Portrait Studio is, it's a reference generating engine. I'm about to open it up so that we can talk about what specific blocks you were missing, because you were missing a lot of blocks. Okay. Blocks for the side of the cheek. And when I say block, I mean a blocking brush used to etch in one value per plane. And the planes, the surface areas, are very calculated and very few, like a low poly head model, which is what we have here. So add models. So this one goes, yes. And this is the plane that I'm talking about. So do I turn on enhanced lighting? I think it'll be too much with it on. Okay, so these blocks are what you're missing. You're missing, see how no matter how I move the light, the eye socket will always be darker than the side of the nose, because as a block, as a pyramid, and you can see the top of the pyramid, the sides of the pyramid, they're all facing the light at a better angle than the inside here, which is facing away from the light completely if an arrow should be pointing out. So if you don't have studies like this under your belt, if you don't have anything like this prepared, and you're trying to jump into a 14-day challenge and you're missing basic, look at the temple line right here. Look at that line. You're missing all of these basic blocks, it's going to show later. See how the entire lower half of the face is in shadow? But you're using highlights here that you didn't even use on the upper lip. So why did you use highlights on the lower lip if upper lip wasn't even in light? Take a look here. Upper lip is brighter than lower lip. Okay. And then we have, so this particular model here is a little tricky because I can't seem to figure out. This model here, when you start blending away at it, you blend away, of course, per fatty pocket, but students forget that I don't want you to paint a concrete looking face. The textures will eventually have to be reflected, and you have to increase the size of your blending brush based on which area you're blending away. So this entire cheek, that rocky surface, is all gone and is now replaced with a believable flesh texture in the way we rendered, in the way we blended. Over here, stuff that is not available in your low poly study would be skin changes and texture changes in skin. So lower eyelid skin is very different from the rest of the face. And your eye socket game is real weak. So if you don't know what I mean by eye sockets, what I expect out of an eye socket in a student, just search up some video history in my channel and you'll see what I say about that. The eye socket is a very big deal because it reflects some major fundamentals of paint application, like technique, radial shading, and edge work, and reading, applying cast shadows, and reading your reference better. Then there's blending the inside of the eyebrow, which is not there. Your eyebrows seem to just suddenly start like they were stick-on. Your eyebrows have to feel like they're growing. And then there's this just random highlight around the middle. So what I'm doing here is I'm blocking. I'm trying to identify the map of the area I'm having issues with. So I'm going back to blocking momentarily. And then I see that this value is in fact too dark for its area. Again, yes, it is a depression. Yes, it's darker than anything around it, but it's not as dark or near as dark as the eye socket. It's still part of the upward part. That face is upward. It slides into and part of the forehead and the nose, which are the brightest areas in the face. So it technically is one of the brightest areas, this little space between the eyes. So don't let that go all the way dark that it starts to look like a unibrow. But it is a depression. The nose bumps in from the side. And then after blocking the sides of the nose like this, I see that the entirety of the nose sides are too dark. Because blocking is a good way to review the value choices. Write that back to me. Okay, so lighten. Just look at that. The nose is going to start appearing more and more elevated. So if this wasn't, if this helped you identify how important it is to block, then just take some time in your 14-day challenge next time to block areas first if they're particularly difficult for you to render. The lips need to be blended even more because they grow into the face. They're just a transition. Now the face is feeling like it's rendered a bit more. And then the radial shading for the lip corners is what I'm applying next. The eye socket area is just altogether a touch too dark. Right, there we go. And then I'm just applying, now I'm applying the low opacity, high feed, pure black, and brush stroke number 1, number 2. And radial shading really sits on the top of the mouth. If you put it on the bottom of the mouth, it'll look like stains. So it's really just for the top of the mouth. Alright, and then you're missing the cylinder core shadows of the geometric anatomy of the lips, which is like the identifying geometry that summarizes what happens on the lips in the light situation. The lips are a cylinder. Cylinders need an upper and lower shadow, and you're missing them on both. Kind of overdid it with the upper lip here. Let me just bring that down. Just going darker still on the lip corners. They're part of the 6 dark spots of the face. Guys, God, isn't it so weird? I've been talking about 6 dark spots since 2013. I used to sound like a teenager back then, even though I was 23. The 6 dark spots of the, don't forget about the 6 dark spots of the face. If you guys listen. Man, I think it's my thyroid that aged my voice. 6 dark spots of the face are really important. Don't forget about those guys. Okay, blending some more on the eyebrows. Upper eyebrow to make it feel like the hair is growing more naturally. Anything you see in makeup tutorials, do the opposite in your art. Alright, because that's just trash. Trash beauty, fake beauty, artificial beauty. Learn how to paint real characters. Now look at the eyebrows. Look at that. Look at how they look like they're growing. And I'm just blending away now at the sides of the nose. We know for sure, because our blocking reviewed our value choices, we know for sure that the nose is not value shared. And I'm adding just a bit of a depression for the lower eyelids because that skin is very different. And sometimes we have a little shine right there. So this entire summer I've been just hiking and going around and staying outdoors, going to the beach. I've tanned like so much that none of my makeup matches me anymore. I had to buy a whole new like shade of makeup, like 5 shades darker. I looked super dark, and I think some of this tan is permanent, which I hope it is. But I've decided that from here on out, I'm going to be as much of a hermit as possible. I think it's been 2 or 3 straight months of outdoor activities. I feel weak. I've lost a ton of weight. I need to gain some art pounds and get some quality content out there. Okay, and the lips sometimes have. Look at how much more natural everything is looking, because you know the underwiring, the underbody of this, the foundation is all intact. The blocking has reinforced the light source. Alright, and if you want to, based off the character design adjustments we did today, you can try an expression challenge after you apply these changes. You know, figure out what a simple little eyebrow to ooh, and then a smile this way, ooh, and then eyes looking in this direction, ooh. Okay, so give it a shot. After you finish your 14-day challenge, try an expression sheet. You're doing really well for a day 6, and I think this early critique is going to steer you back in the right direction with your blocking. But your blocking is severely lacking some structural integrity. Okay, so this was your canvas before. Right, way too short. Now we've adjusted the face to feel a little bit more familiar and less uncanny, because there was that uncanniness going on. That shrunken, squashed face that just kept getting worse between your day 5 and your day 6. It's like it got worse in your day 6. Okay? Any questions at all? So is drawing makeup bad because I like making pretty characters? No, it's fine. It's fine to draw makeup, but if your character's got sketched in eyebrows, if your character's got thick lash line with thick false lashes, if she's got super black eye socket eyeshadow, she's got dark lipstick, she's got contouring, you're not really painting human anymore. You're painting a succubus. The 6 dark spots are irises, lip corners, and nostrils, right? Yeah, Nina, but the eyes are, I call them 6 dark spots because it's easy to remember, but the eye as a dark spot, the whole eye system is a weird dark spot because it's got multiple dark spots, whereas the irises are dark, so are the lash lines because that's pigment and hair. So are the eyebrows, so is the eye socket because it's a deep crease. So there's a lot of black spots around the eye, but we're just going to call it the 2 at the top. But it is a whole grouping of dark spots up there. Sorry, I just need some water. What is the 14-day challenge? If you don't know what the 14-day challenge is, go to istebrak.com. Go to the community. Scroll down to FAQ. 14-day challenge, FAQ, and Q&A. All right? Does it need to be 14 consecutive days? Is there a recommended amount of time per portrait? Can we do a 14-day challenge with the face closure? Can we? You can watch numerous 14-day challenge, but over here, what is the 14-day challenge? Why should I participate? And then details on the 14-day challenge. Okay, so go to istebrak.com and click on the community tab and scroll down. All right. Any other questions are here as well. Most likely they're the questions you need asked. I don't know why it's saying not secure. Your connection to the site is not secure. You should enter sensitive information to the site because it could be stolen by hackers. Oh my god. Not hackers. Okay, so to join the class, click on the Google Plus icon on istebrak.com. And make sure you read the rules, okay? Here is, on this page is where you'll find all of the information on the upcoming challenge. It's not announced yet. But it will be there. For those who know what it is already, just let everyone else who doesn't know what it is, just to give them a heads up on what it's going to be. To buy my brushes, if anyone's interested in any of the brushes that I've used today, if anyone's interested in Portrait Studio, which I also used today, it's available on my store. Anything that you do supports the classes, supports my channel, just keeps us going. So head over to the store if you're interested in any of that. And then finally, Patreon for anyone interested in joining this month's challenge as an apprentice, or any other tiers for the time-lapse videos or the streams. You can find them all there. Istebrak. Russian Istebrak. Question, Istebrak. Is it okay for me to do color form study? Yes, yes it is. It's good to study some color theory, how reds darken, how they lighten in warm light. Absolutely you can do colored form studies. Try all the primary colors. And then try all the secondary colors. Then try colors reflecting on each other. Then try an environment color. And then you'll be set for any kind of illustration. Any other questions at all? If you're doing a portrait, have a portrait canvas. If you're doing a landscape, have a landscape canvas. No in-betweens. Yep, no tiles. Is it okay if you get worse on the next day of the challenge? It's not. It's not okay. So it might be because you did not look at your mistakes effectively enough. It might be because you didn't get a critique. It is absolutely important you get a critique for your next day. And if you're not getting critiques, it's because you're not giving them. Don't just post them on the community and expect your life to change. You have to be an active member to have people notice you and look for your name and look for your posts. So this is a very, very active community. Just remember that. In order for you to get critiques, you have to submit them. All right, I think that's it for today. Thank you everyone for watching. I might do an after-hours stream after I get back from the gym, and yeah, I'll see you guys there if anyone's interested. If you guys don't know how to find my after-hours stream, if you guys are confused on where it is, you just go to my channel, and if I'm live, it'll be on my front page. I still don't know whether or not you guys get notifications whether I go live. If you're subscribers but you haven't turned on notifications. So I think it's a bell somewhere. I'm not sure how to see it as a subscriber or a new subscriber, but there is a bell somewhere that lets you know. But any live now is all the way at the top of my page, at the home. And yeah. So I'll see you guys tonight if anyone's interested. If I can handle it, if I can manage doing another stream today. Thank you everyone for joining. I will see you guys next time. Bye.